Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Ghost Files Live, episode 4. I am your host, Vincent DiSanti. Thank you for joining me. I'm broadcasting from my parents' house in Westport, Massachusetts. I'm now on the East Coast of the United States, so it's about 9 o'clock out here. Hopefully, everybody turning in from all over the country and world is having a great and wonderful Friday. Hey, how's everybody doing, right? Seeing everybody in the chat. I see Mitch, I see John, see some of my friends out there saying hello, asking questions. Thank you for everybody showing up. If you haven't had a chance to see any of the posts from today, we posted something about 5 o'clock. We sent some things in the Never Hike Alone 2 Indiegogo about updates about the Never Hike Alone 2 production. That's mostly what this broadcast is going to be about tonight. I want to talk to the fans. I want to get their questions. But the first few minutes here, I'm just going to kind of go over basically what is kind of going on with Never Hike Alone 2. So if you missed the update today, you can either go to Facebook or Indiegogo or Twitter or Instagram and get the update, or you can just get it right here. Basically, after the Indiegogo finished in around April, we were waiting around for our deposit. It took a little extra longer than we thought, and in the process, started sort of a slide of things where we were trying to book locations, and locations were starting to get filled up. And then as we started to get locations, we had conflicts with cast and crew members. And then basically, long story short, is when we started to put the production together for 2022, searching for, hoping to be done by the fall, it just looked like there was going to be less and less time for anything, less time for shooting, less time for post-production. It was going to be a really rushed production. And even though we could have probably powered through, the issue with that would have been the quality. I didn't wait 2.5 years to rush through a production and get something out to you just because we said it was going to come out in a certain time. It took a little bit of sort of dialing back, taking a step back and saying what is going to be for the best for production. So long story short, the Never Hike Alone 2 production is going to be delayed from fall of 2022 to the spring of 2023, which actually ended up opening up a litany of great things for us. And I'll go over that in a second. So just so I can go over an overview of what's basically going to happen is Never Hike Alone 2 is going to go into production this year. In fact, I would say we're technically in production right now. They've already started building our new Ghost Jason appliances at CFX in Louisiana. They have my original appliances. If I start to get spotty or anything, I don't think the internet here is as great as what I had in LA, but please bear with me if I do get spotty. So CFX is currently working on the new Ghost Chasing materials. We always get new hood and hands for every film. For this one, we've upgraded a little bit. We've made sure that the axe mark, the machete mark, the axe mark from Never Hike Alone 1, and some other little nitty gritty things that we've added in and kind of customized are getting done right now for us. So our silicone appliances are under construction. We will have a working, breathing Ghost Jason by the middle of July of this year, which was always on schedule. That was always sort of the plan. Since we're going to have that, and we are going to have a costume this summer, we are going to film part of Never Hike Alone 2 this year. In August 16th through 18th, we're going to be filming certain scenes up in Portland, Oregon, or actually it's right over the border in Washington at a private lake. It's a really cool scene. It's going to help us create the teaser for the film, which will be released in January of 2023. That's the first Friday the 13th of 2023. We're going to go into the spring of 2023, actually starting April 16th through April 31st. We're going to be tackling all of our camp stuff. So we'll be at our camp stuff for 1 week. We'll be at our hospital stuff the next week. And then we're going to take a week off and then returning to Washington so we can film 2 additional scenes that will make up basically the finale of the movie. There's some really cool spots that we have up here. Actually, our friends at Jason Rising helped hook us up with that. So we get this brand new, really cool scene that's going to be really cool. And this brand new set that hasn't been seen before. So we're really excited about that. So let's talk about the positive. So obviously the first negative, if we want to get that out of the way, is that we have to wait. I really wanted to film out this year. I tried really, really hard to make it work. But at the end of the day, the way the schedule ended up breaking down was we were getting like 2 days here, 3 days here, another 2 days here. And there was a lot of travel from LA to the mountains where we film in Big Bear. So every time we do that, that's 2 days of travel that we have to pay for that ends up stacking up on the budget versus going up to the mountain once, shooting all week up in the mountain and getting all of our camp stuff in 1 week, and then sliding over to another location that's located on the mountain. We actually have a hospital that's located on a lake in a mountain community. So we have a really great opportunity to shoot at a really cool location. And so instead of trying to go up and down and spend a lot of money on, like, basically we're spending 2 extra days on renting props and equipment and cars and things like that. Now we just get it in one full stretch. We don't have to go up and down. We don't have to pay for extra gas for travel. We're literally just at our camp. We stay where we are. We shift over to the next town and then we go home. After that, we're going to be filming in Los Angeles at a hospital set that's on a sound stage. We're going to have complete control of our hospital set. We have a lot of work to do in there. There are 3 days worth of work in there. We're going to take a couple weeks off, and then we're going to fly back to Portland, like I said, and do that in middle of May, so May 13th through 15th. So that's basically the schedule of how we're going to do it. We're going to work all summer on post-production. So that's editing, sound, music, and VFX and everything in between. And then we're going to release on Friday the 13th, October 2023. If all goes well, we'll be back at the Telluride Horror Show, just like we were for the first film. I've talked to them sort of on and off for the next few years. Of course, they want to have us back as long as we have a completed film for them, and it's good. But I have no doubt that my team and I can deliver on that promise for you guys. So we're definitely going to try to work out with you guys over the next year to see if we can get as many backers and fans to Telluride for 2023 as possible. So start saving up now. Even if we weren't at the fest, something you guys want to check out. So I definitely throw a lot of love towards the Telluride Horror Show, because I definitely want to go back there and premiere this at the Sheridan Theater. And if we have a lot more people, maybe we can take it down the street to the high school where they got a big IMAX screen and we can really blow this thing out. So that'd be really cool. So let's talk about the positives. The first positive, if I'm going off the top of my head, is that there are no conflicts. So like I said, we're not gussying up our schedule. We're shooting 2 straight weeks, and then we're shooting our other, kind of final day, which is its own trip to a certain location with a much reduced crew. It just helps the film so many ways. We're in it the whole time. We don't have to fly people in and out a bunch of times because we're filming one weekend and we need them for one day that weekend, and then they go home for 2 weeks, then they come home for another. That just starts to add up costs, and that's money that's not going into the movie. That's not money that's going into your perks. And anytime we don't have money doing that, I usually get a little cranky about it. So I feel a little bit better now that it's kind of doing that. The next thing is that Never Hike Alone 2 is set in April of 2017. So shooting in April is actually going to really work out for us. At that time of year, the mountains in San Bernardino are green and lush and full, and there's atmosphere and there's snow melt. So as far as it being accurate to the time period, it's actually going to be perfectly accurate. It's almost 3 months to the day of what we say it's actually going to take place. It's supposed to take place on April 13th, 2017, as Never Hike in the Snow took place on January 13th of 2017. So, with that said, we're in the exact time of when that's supposed to take place. We'll match the footage from Never Hike Alone 1 as far as the way that, because we shot that during the same time period for the most part. And that, that ended up really working out for us. I'm really excited about that. What were the negatives about shooting this fall? Well, that's fire season in Los Angeles. And it started as something to think about. As soon as we started getting into August and September, I was really getting concerned with saying, like, last year when we were kind of scouting the locations and checking on them, there were roads that were shut down, and the main road into our camp was shut down. It was about an hour and a half detour that you had to take to get around. So again, that's additional travel that we would have had to deal with if, say, a similar fire pops up, or if a fire pops up during that time. It just happens so sporadically up there, and it's so high risk that it ended up moving into spring. There's little chance. I mean, the fire danger is very low in the spring. Everything's really wet. The water's running down the mountain, all that stuff. What's next on our list? Let's see. Pre-production. We now have 10 extra months of pre-production, which is amazing. I can't tell you, my production designers, my art directors, my visual effects people all took a big sigh of relief, being like, that gives us a lot of time to really prep and, more importantly, test. We have some really interesting kills for this film that are going to take some practice. And some of the rigs that we're going to build are going to need some testing. So now there's more on-site and in the lab testing that we can do before we can go out there. There are more tweaks that we can make to things. Artists can take a little bit, they don't have to jam their time to rush it and get it done. They can slowly build it and kind of experiment and find ways to make them better. So that's been a really good kind of plus for this. I think it gave everybody a big sense of relief. I know it's going to give me more time to sort of previs and do some extra things that I wouldn't have been able to do, say like if I was going back to LA next week, which would have been the original plan. I would have been taking a flight back to LA, I think on the 13th around that time, and starting to prep and running around. So that would have been, although I was ready and willing to do it, it's kind of nice that I can sit back. We've been storyboarding. I'm going to be doing a lot of previs with my phone and kind of reshooting scenes and talking to Evan, our DP, about designing some of the scene work. So that's just going to be, I mean, anytime you have more pre-production on the film, that's great. It just means we're going to be that more of a well-oiled machine when we get out there. And it may actually pay off in other ways, because when it comes to the next part, we're talking about crowdfunding. We raised $200,000 so far. That's been really great. We're getting about 185,000 of that right now. But we have stretch goals that we might have been able to kind of get closer to, maybe 250 if we really tried hard over the summer. But now we have an extra 10 months to reach our ultimate goal, which was $350,000. So with that $350,000, remember, that's 2 additional scenes that we're going to get, one of them being a kill montage, another one being a full extra scene with kills. And then that $350,000 was also going to cover a prequel called The Ghost of Crystal Lake, which was going to introduce how Ghost Jason was sort of created, how he went from the Jason that we knew from the Paramount era and then evolved into the Ghost Jason as we know him in the Never Hike Alone world. This film would have taken place back in like 2001. So it's set in that time period, which is pretty cool, which is close enough. I mean, it feels like was just yesterday because I'm an old millennial. I'm an older millennial, I guess. But it's a really cool story about him coming back to Crystal Lake after Jason Takes Manhattan. So, right now what we want to do is sort of get the fan base rallied around the fact that we have 10 months to get more people on board. We have 10 months for backers to say if they were looking at a VIP and didn't have a chance to do it yet. Well, now you have 10 months to save up and jump on board. The Indiegogo is still in demand. The link is in the broadcast description. So if you just go below, it should be the first line. And on top of that, we're going to be releasing a ton of new perks. So that's one of the things I've been working on while we've been down. I don't want to talk about them yet because they're not ready to show, but I just wanted to get people, I want to get all the fans just ready to say that if you were looking for more things or if you were interested in more products, we have those coming out that will help do it. Actually, in fact, one of them is probably going to be, I'll give you a sneak preview. We have these Womp Stomp film cups that I got for my mom for Mother's Day, because she loves our Never Hike stuff. But we also got this on the side of it, which is the Never Hike Alone logo in red. So we're thinking about doing these. I know our friends in Jason Rising did a bunch of coffee cups. So hopefully we'll have those out. We'll probably be pretty nice and affordable. But there's a couple things on there that are really, really cool. And if you haven't seen it yet, we have the Never Hike Alone, the original Never Hike Alone soundtrack on vinyl available right now for pre-order. We have about 65 left, maybe less. We also have it on cassette tape, and I think there's only 9 cassette tapes left. They're red cassette tapes, which are really, really cool. You definitely want to pick those up. Those will ship next February, and that will be great. Let's see, what else? What else were the positives? I can't really sort of remember it off the top of my head. But suffice to say, all of those things leading in, we're going to be really good. It gives me more time to train for Ghost Jason. I don't know if anybody follows my blog on Instagram, but I've been training a lot this year and running it every day. I'm actually on day 95 of a running rally to sort of get in shape and really kind of own the character this year. We're going to do a lot of weightlifting this summer, so you can join me on my journey for that. We're going to have more time to do stuff like this. So, I wasn't doing Ghost Files until now. I wanted to get everything done. And then I was going to get back on this train. But now that we've been booked, and so when I say that like we're moving to next year, we've already booked these dates. And that's what I was waiting for. Waiting for confirmation from everybody on the team, everybody at other locations, everybody who works. It was a lot of people to reach out to and talk about and discuss. But these dates are locked now. So this is really good. We're already locked in. There's nothing to worry about. It's just going to take a little bit longer than there. But, I think as you can see by outlining some of the positives, it's that, we're on the right track. Oh, and I forgot about my favorite positive. We're going to release on Friday the 13th in October of 2023. The original release date for Never Hike Alone was October 13th, 2017, which is also a Friday the 13th. This is the first Friday the 13th in October since our release. So There's something about that that's sort of serendipitous. I don't know about you guys. I'm a little superstitious, but and obviously with a Friday the 13th film, you got to be a little superstitious, right? But to release on the same day that we release the first film feels like the closing of a chapter. It feels like we're giving the film the right time to be built up and go through the paces to be prepared. So our team is completely prepared and we don't have an interrupted production. But releasing on Friday the 13th is special to me. We've released basically almost a lot. We've released a lot of things on Friday the 13th. Never Hike in the Snow got released on a 13th, but I believe it was like a Thursday or something like that. It was sort of on the same day, but I don't know. This just feels right. And I got to say, when I stepped back and I looked at the schedule and the way that it was, I took a breath of relief and said, you know what? No one feels rushed. Everyone feels really good about it. Everybody on the cast and crew was actually really like, we think this is a good thing. We've reached out to producers for Never Hike Alone. Everyone who kind of backed and did VIP, we did let them know a little bit earlier than everyone else, just to gauge how people would react. Lots of positive responses. It's just sort of the responsible thing to do. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure that you can feel to want to rush things. But, as I'm seeing a lot of the comments here, everybody's saying you can't rush perfection. John, my boy, John 316 here. Exactly. You can't rush it. There's nothing to brag about saying, oh, I shot a film in 8 days and blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is like a 13 to 15 day shoot. And that's not something you want to rush. And in fact, even though it's 13 to 15 days, and that may sound like a lot, I'm actually working on a production right now that's on day 33. So usually, feature films are shot in between 25 and 35 days. So when you start getting into the lower realm like that, you're doing a lot in the day, and our team can do a lot in a day. That's why we kind of wrote it this way. But we're still sort of low budget filmmaking, but with our team, which we do our best to make it feel as theatrical as possible. Then there's one more thing that's sort of on this list. So now we've had this big opening in our schedules. Life is changing for me. I was supposed to only be in Massachusetts for 2 months, and then I was going to go back to LA. I no longer have an apartment in LA. I gave it up for the project because I wanted to focus in on this and just bounce around. And then I was going to find a landing spot once I was done shooting the film. I'm actually moving to Massachusetts full time. I'm in the process of doing that now that we're not shooting the film right away. And I have until August, which we're already prepped for August, which is really great. The plane tickets have been purchased. The Airbnb's been rented. The location's been rented. All the costumes are in creation right now. Which is really cool. And what else did we need for that? Everything's like ready to go. So since that, and we're storyboarded for it too. So we've already done that, which is really cool. So I'm going to focus on sort of getting myself set up here. When I get back in September from shooting, I'm going to be driving across country. So all my stuff's in Arizona right now at my brother's house. So is my Jeep. So after shooting in LA and Washington for the opening of the film, I'm going to go in the process of moving back to Massachusetts. I'm going to be based out of here all through pre-production. My parents have been kind enough to let me sleep in my old room while I look for a place and look for more work. In fact, I'm working on a film right now called The Finest Kind, which is being filmed in my hometown, which is really cool. It stars Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Foster, Jenny Ortega from Scream and X is in it. It's really cool. I mean, Tim Daly was on set. I'm a big Wings fan. It's really cool to sort of be home in Massachusetts doing what I love to do, because when I left Massachusetts in 2008, there was no industry out here. There were films being made, but there wasn't really a spot for somebody like me who had no experience and didn't have any sort of connection to get onto a film set. So I moved to LA to get that experience in order to come back and say, hey, now that I have experience, I can actually earn my way onto some professional sets. And literally after 2 weeks of being home, I was able to make a connection. And I was on set of this film. It's really cool. It's directed by a guy named Brian, who was the writer of Mystic River. He directed 42, A Knight's Tale, lots of other great movies. Are really good. A lot of talented people on this crew, so I feel really lucky to be a part of it. I'm just working, as a PA in the AD staff, doing additional days, earning my time. But, I've been bouncing around. If anybody's been following us on Instagram, I've been helping my parents with cleanouts. Like, as you can see, like there's a lot of antiques in here. My family's a family of antique dealers, so I help them with that too. And so while I'm home, I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be prepping for this. I'm going to be coming up with some new original projects. And we're also going to be working on a secret Never Hike Alone project that will release this year. So with the opening that's been created, I've been contacted by some people. I'm not going to say anything about it right now because we have to build some prep materials for it. I want to be able to announce this with something for people to look at. But I'm very excited about it. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's a very short little piece. I'd say it's longer than Disappear, shorter than Never Hike in the Snow's opening, but it is sort of this experiment that I always wanted to do with Friday the 13th. And I'll go into that more when I have more detail. But, as far as when you look at the outlook this year, we're gonna do some filming for Never Hike Alone 2. We're gonna do a lot of cool stuff. We're getting a brand new costume, so expect a lot of photography that'll go out with Ashley Covington when I have it while I'm in LA. We're gonna do a lot of shooting at the camp and do some promo stuff. We'll probably be doing like stuff like we did for Never Hike Alone, where I'm just gonna go out and do some tests in this new costume and go walk around the forest and do some test shots and things like that. So look for like little snippets of things that's going to pop up in the fall and late summer, some nice photography and cosplay that will pop up around then. We'll be working on the secret project once the costume comes in and getting all that together, maybe filming some stuff back out here in Massachusetts once I land in Massachusetts with it. So that will be a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing a lot more conventions. So I'm going to be at Wicked Killa Fest, which will be in Manchester, New Hampshire, October 7th through 9th, which is really cool. So anybody from New England, please come on and stop by and say hello. I'm going to be looking for a few more conventions along the way to go out and say hi to people. But this secret project is really going to be cool. So that was sort of like the silver lining, was that like we aren't going to let fans go home empty-handed this year. Part of what we're doing with the expansion of the Indiegogo will involve the secret project once we announce it. So there'll be sort of a new backer credit. So you can get like a credit on this thing as a credit just for that. You can get a Blu-ray and a credit. And then there's going to be some new perks that are, there's a couple that I'm like really stoked about. And then there's a new concept that we're going to put together for some apparel that's going to be really rad, that I think even whether you want to wear it for X, Y, or Z, it's going to be great. Everything from cosplay to casual wear. So we're really kind of excited about that. Just making as much cool stuff for you guys as possible. Obviously, we're always taking suggestions. So if you have any suggestions for us, wompstompfilms@gmail.com. Let us know if there's anything that we haven't created yet. I know some people have emailed us about sweatshirts, which we can do. If you want to email us about getting a sweatshirt like the one I wear, in fact, it has this logo on it. You can get it in red or white. In fact, you can get it in any color you want. You can customize the sweatshirt however you want. We order them from Vistaprint. It will ship right to you. We'll go through the Indiegogo. We'll just have to charge for the overhead and how much it goes from there. But it might be a great way for you to jump on right now. I would definitely do that. Now do this for Halloween movies. Well, we've been in 3. And the latest one, Happy Halloween, is really, really cool. And I want to talk to Cortland Gordon and Jimmy Champagne about doing a Happy Halloween 2, which we might, we'll have to come up with more fun names for it. When will the secret project release? The goal is October. I think it will be finished by the time we're done with it, because it's not going to take too long to sort of put together. Sometime in August or September, it should be ready to go. We're just giving ourselves a buffer, and then we'll release it during Halloween season. We'll release it right to the YouTube. Hopefully, we'll bring it out to a few festivals if it's ready to go. Maybe Telluride Horror Show if it's ready for then. It will be a short, so it's not going to be anything huge, but at least we'll see Ghost Jason in action this year. There will be some kills, some really brutal kills. We're able to kind of write something really, really quick. And then it also gives me an opportunity to work on some original projects. So speaking of original projects, anyone who backed the Judy project, good news. Judy's basically finished. Renee's working on it right now. He got the final thing from post-production. He's making a couple tweaks to it. A couple, sound effects dropped out or something like that. So he's going to go in and just kind of piece those back together. He's putting together a screening of it somewhere in Flagstaff, I believe at the Orpheum Theater. And then we'll release it on the Renee Rivas production YouTube. And that should be out there. So backers, definitely keep an eye out for that. There are a couple projects that I'm going to work on this year for original stuff. So keep an eye out for that. We may go to crowdfunding for it. We may just try to do it with internal funds, because we'll see what ends up happening there. But I want to use this time as wisely as possible. Obviously, I got a cross-country move to do and all these things. So we're probably looking at some fall shooting while I'm waiting for Never Hike Alone next year, and hopefully landing some more production work. So all that said, that's my spiel. That's what's going on. Hopefully, no one is too upset. If you are really upset, if you're worried, or whatever the case may be, just email me at wompstompfilms@gmail.com. I'm happy to talk to any backer who feels like that, they're worried about their investment or anything. I just want to assure everybody that, we're locked in for the long haul. And in fact, I want to press again, let's try to get to a $350,000. This is going to be great. Like an open Indiegogo all year. I mean, why didn't I think of this sooner? Right. It's sort of, it's the silver lining, really. It's going to take a little bit longer, but us having a bigger budget is only going to lead to more things for you, the fans. And I think that the journey that Never Hike Alone has been for us, why not go out with a bang? I mean, not that Never Hike Alone 2, as it is funded right now, isn't going to be great, but to have the full spiel that, like, I had to cut out a couple things that I really liked, and it didn't really kill the film. It just sort of like, I bet fans would have enjoyed that, or like, that was a cool kill. I can't do it anymore. Or that was a funny scene that ended up with a good kill. But it's not, I don't need it to tell the story, so we'll get it out and we'll just stick to the story. But this is going to be really big. I'm going to continue working on the film as well. We have a draft that's completed. It's basically locked. I have some tweaks that I've been making to it as we go. We're going to continue doing table reads with the cast and crew. So we'll get on, if I do another draft of it, get everybody's input, which has been really great. One of the greatest things about this is now we all get to talk a little bit. So now I get to talk to my production departments. I've already, I talked to Jess and stunts and Nora and FX and, Steven in costumes and things like that. And obviously Brittany and Kyle, my producers, when we've been booking our locations, and some of our locations people have questions about what we're going to be doing in their parking lots and things like that. So it's been really good to sort of have that all ironed out versus sort of kind of beelining it into production and sort of building it as we go. There's going to be so much track laid out ahead of us that we're really excited. So let me jump into some questions. I'm just going to have to scan through. I've only funded 4 Indiegogos. 2 of them are Never Hike Alone. Thank you. Oh, speaking of funding Indiegogos, some people have asked. I might have to get them back on Facebook or something like that. But if you're watching, anybody who donated to Jason Rising, you can email me. I can answer for them because I know what's going on. But you want to email our friends at Jason Rising and not Womp Stomp Films. We're not the ones shipping the Blu-rays. They are. And they are in the process of shooting Blu-ray. So James works a full-time job. He's actually he works on the train yard in Portland, or I believe, somewhere around Portland or Washington or something like that. So he has a really weird, he works overnight. He works very odd hours. So when he's not there and he finally wakes up and he's not taking his daughter to soccer practice and he's not doing other things for his life, he is shipping Blu-rays. Trust me, I talk to him every day or every other day, and I know he's doing the work. He can get out a few a day, not a few, but I mean, he's probably getting like 50 to 100 out a day. He's got a lot to do. So just be patient. They'll get there. They have everything in stock and you're good there. Are you going to bring back any other characters or actors from the original film? Let's put this one up. That answer is too early to tell you, because what kind of a surprise would that be? So obviously we know that Tom is coming back. We know that Vinny's coming back. I'll let you know one other person that's coming back. Tracy Savage will be appearing as our newscaster again. So we'll have our newscaster appear a few times maybe. So we have that. So with that in mind, yeah, sure. There's lots of people who are sort of in our wheelhouse that we can pull in for certain things. If we raise the budget, we may be able to add a few scenes, and I may be able to ask a few favors from people to come in and play roles. So there are things like that. When it comes to Never Hike Alone 2, I don't want to show you all my cards. As you guys have learned, like, I'm not here to put faces on my poster and try to get as much money out of, their fame as possible. I'm here to make the best movie possible. So when you watch the movie, you don't know what's coming. I don't want to tell you what's happening in the trailers. I'm going to tell you right now, the trailer that we released in 2023, that one in January, it's not going to be your traditional trailer. It's just going to be like Never Hike in the Snow, where you see the opening of the film and then you're going to have to guess what happens after that. So, and I know that this teaser is going to have people asking so many crazy questions. I know it's going to be great. People are going to be so speculative of what's going on and what Never Hike Alone is going to be about. We'll probably do a second trailer over the summer if, once we get the rest of the footage and we have more stuff out at camp and things like that, if we don't go out and do teaser stuff anyway. You want narration from Fred Savage. He's in trouble right now, so I don't know if he's the best one to to help us out with that. But here, let's jump into some other questions. If you've asked a question already and it's scrolled way by, throw it in the thing right now because I'm just going to work on the closest things possible. If you could count other Friday movies after Part 8, what movies would we count? It would be Jason X, because technically Never Hike Alone takes place before Jason X, so that could work into a Jason X. But Freddy versus Jason, Jason Goes to Hell, and the 2009 remake they're all sitting in the doghouse with me. They're all in the outhouse whistling with Demon. Let me see. Yes, that hitchhikes me, blah, blah, blah. Would you ever? Thanks, Mitch. Hey, shout out to Mitch. He's always here. Big supporter. Thank you for checking in. Would you ever need assistance in the post-production stage? Yes, sir. Anyone who wants to help out in post-production or on set, we have a list of growing list of volunteers. So email wompstompfilms@gmail.com. We'll put you in our contact list. We'll see whatever your post skill is. We'll see if we can match that up with our team. I will say this: we will have Mike Appy back as our editor. He cut Never Hike in the Snow. We'll have Rob Vorncall back, who will be working as our online editor and colorist. We'll be looking for VFX artists. We're going to have Iceman Audio back to do our audio. And then we're going to have Ryan Perez Dapple back to do our composition, our composing. So that part's going to be there. So we're definitely going to be looking for VFX artists. I'm going to be looking for a title artist. So I want like really nice titles for this one. We've been sort of doing it on our own. Mike did it on Never Hike in the Snow. I did it on Never Hike Alone. It worked for that, but I want somebody who has that extra touch. You know what I mean? Somebody who this is what they concentrate on. Titles are what they do, and that's all they're going to do for the film. And I would love to have somebody who's that's their specialty. So if anybody knows anybody out there, have them reach out to us for sure. What's it like to put on the mask and become a legend? It is a privilege. Honestly, it's a privilege to be able to do this and have it be funded by so many different fans and have it so well funded by fans. And to play this character is a dream come true. We've all watched Jason since we were kids, and to go out there with that responsibility, it's a lot of work, but this is a lot of fun. And I never really intended to be Jason. And I got to give a lot of credit to Brian Forrest, who's my stunt double and partner in crime when it comes to Ghost Jason. I get a lot of credit for what he does. But he does a lot. He's my Mando. You know what I mean? I'm just Pedro Pascal. I go in there when it's for certain scenes. And then usually Brian is out there taking a brunt of the hit. But I do a lot of the work. We shared about 50-50, I would say, at the end of the day. Sometimes a little bit more one way or the other. I think I was more on Never Hike Alone. We were about even. And I think Brian might have had me beat on Never Hike in the Snow. I did all of Disappear. It just sort of depends on the day and what we're doing for filming, but it is definitely a cool feeling. Let's see if you could do another Friday movie. Oh, I already did that one. Let's see. Trailer etiquette in 2022. What is this? Yeah, I mean, I just don't. There's no reason for us to spoil a movie that's going to be. That just like with Never Hike Alone, like the faces on everyone's faces when they saw Tom at the end of that movie, like we could have been milking Tom since January 2017. You know what I mean? Like all the way up, putting his face on the poster, and then we put him in the movie for 5 minutes. What kind of experience is that for the fans? I'd rather surprise you. And speaking of that, any fun callbacks to the previous films? There will be. I weave them in as we go. Obviously we're going to be at Wessex County Medical for this one. Wessex County Medical was a big set in Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. Since we're rewinding time a little bit, we're going to have Axel back. The character of Axel will be there. We'll have Denny will be back because part of it takes place before Never Hike Alone. So we'll have them. So that'll be really good. And then, as we go, there's always opportunities to kind of sneak little Easter eggs here and there. So we'll definitely be up to that. Let's see. You mentioned updating. Oh, whoa. Whoa, what happened? I got a bunch of updates. Here we go. From Jordan Harvey, the 2009 remake cosplayer master himself. You mentioned on updating the costume of Jason. What does that mean? The update to the face or the hockey mask from the original film? I don't want to give away anything about like facial stuff. But like I said kind of before, we're adding damages. We're adding a little bit more to the cheeks and giving this a little bit more in here and through here. Just a little bit more detail and things like that. So it doesn't like so when you see through the mask, there's like some skin there versus just sometimes you can see through to my face and we have to like kind of color those out. A lot of the things we're doing are sort of built on sort of our post production of like what we should be covering on my face. A lot of it has to do with damage. There's some damage to Jason as the film goes along. So that goes with the costume, that goes with the appliances. So there's sort of like some stages of Jason. Like Jason's obviously coming in on a full blown attack now. You know what I mean? So he's going to take some damage as he goes throughout the movie. And obviously he's fighting Tommy and Andrew and more characters. So we sort of wanted to build that in. That was something we couldn't do in the original Never Hike Alone. He was originally supposed to take a bunch of knife stabs, but we didn't have enough money for additional costumes. So we took all the stabs out. And in fact, when you see Kyle go to stab Jason in the scene where he gets thrown over the table, or I believe, thrown over the table, that he was really supposed to push Jason against the table, stab him in the chest, come back for a big stab, and then go. But we didn't want to mess up the shirt because we were shooting it all out of order. This time we get to do that. Is this the creative Never Hike Alone franchise? It sure is. It's me. It was me and a group of friends back in 2016. Chris Thellis, Kyle Klein, Jonathan Cabrera, JD Martz, Andrew Lady. That was the core group of us that sort of started it. And it has grown to a much bigger team now. I have a very wonderful, fantastic crew at Womp Stomp Films, everything from pre-production to post-production. But yeah, I'm the guy who went and did all that stuff. What is the Ghost Files? Well, definitely check out episode 1 of the Ghost Files, which is on the YouTube links somewhere on our page on our channel. If you go to there's a playlist with it. I sort of explain it. What is Ghost Files? Well, it's sort of behind the scenes look. I'm going to be trying to do these a little bit more often now that I'm settled in here in Massachusetts. I'll be doing updates on behind the scenes. I'll be trying to put together some special things, like we want to go over the Ghost Jason costume one of these weeks. So I may build an episode and do that out. It won't be a live one. It'll be a pre-recorded documentary, but it just gives fans a chance to interact with me directly. And you've released a trailer in the future. You'll have a chance to interact with me directly, ask questions throughout the course of the campaign. If somebody's new to Never Hike Alone and they have questions, that's what I'm here for. And that's what the Ghost Files is. This is just a chance for us to do a live vlog, sort of like Kyle McLeod, and connect with fans. And so that's what this is all about. 2023, you've released a trailer in the future? No, we haven't released it yet. We still have to shoot it. But I'm saying when we release it, we'll be releasing the trailer in January 13th, 2023. That will be the first trailer for Never Hike Alone 2. Thank you very much. The lady thinks that Never Hike Alone 2 is awesome. I think so too. Ooh, Mitch is going to do. You know what, Mitch? Let's talk about that, because I already have one thing from you. I would like to, because I like it. And I wanted to put some stuff together. I haven't had a chance to do it, but we should make like an old school trailer. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Exactly what I do. Am I ever going to do Michael versus Jason? We've answered this question before, and I'll just say this: it would be the shortest film of all time, and Michael would lose hands down. Jason versus Wolfman. I've talked to the guys about it. We're thinking about it. It's not on my radar at the moment. There's actually another production that I'll actually talk about in a little bit. There's another production that's going to be on my radar this year that we have to get done that's been delayed forever. So now that Never Hike Alone 2 is moving, we'll be working on that instead. But Jason versus Wolfman is on the docket. I'm going to talk to my friends at Hawthorne House Films. We're going to pull that all back together. And we're probably going to shoot for something in 2023 for trying to shoot that. Maybe sometime that summer would probably be a good do it. Would do work. Peter Frost, love the stunt work for these movies. That's a shout out to Jessica Aaron Bennett, our wonderful stunt coordinator, and Brian Forrest, who assists her as well. Both of those they're pros. They're great. They do great work for us, and they keep us in check, and they keep everyone safe. And that's what stunt coordinators should do. You have some of these fan films out here with people just sort of calling themselves stunt coordinators, and they actually don't know what they're doing. They're putting themselves in vast danger. Tough to support stuff like that, but hey, people do what they're going to do. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. But on the Womp Stomp films, we actually have professional stunt people who know how to do it right and know how to do it without getting anybody hurt. Great. Let's see. Let's see. Will Kyle be in NHA 2? Yes, Kyle McLeod will be a major character in Never Hike Alone 2. Remember, this is picking up directly sort of before Never Hike Alone and then right after Never Hike Alone ends. So like that scene of them driving to the hospital, we're not jumping 3 months. We're not jumping any more time. Like that happens 3 months after Never Hike in the Snow. That's the time period. And so them driving away is the next part of the story. And Jason is following them into town. So Kyle is going to be in the film. I'm not going to spoil anything with as far as like what his actions are going to be or what he's going to do. But Kyle McLeod is a major part. We're welcoming back Andrew Lady, which is going to be great. And we're very excited about that. What made me want to make a Friday film? I love Friday the 13th. I grew up with Friday the 13th. I always wanted to work on a Friday the 13th, and Never Hike Alone was supposed to be my chance to sort of just get that out of my system. 6 years later, since the film became so popular, and I've been lucky enough to have people support these projects, I've realized that this is a very limited opportunity in my life. And so if I'm ever going to work on a Friday the 13th, this is sort of my opportunity. I get to work with Tom Matthews and Vinny Guastafara and working on Jason Rising. I got to work with Adrian King and Amy Steele. I got to work on 13 Fanboy with Deb Voorhees and Ron Sloan and Kane Hodder and CJ Graham and Judy Ronson and Tracy Savage again and Dee Wallace and a litany of other actors. So why did I do this? It's opened up for me to follow my dreams. So that's literally what this is about, and it's been an amazing ride. And I've never expected this. I just want to make a Friday the 13th film that made people smile. And now it's given me this opportunity in my life and with my career to dedicate time to Friday the 13th before I move on to, bigger and more original projects and things like that and go in there. Speaking of original projects, are you still working on your animated short Ghost Chicken? Yes, I am. So one of the things that's on hold right now is Ghost Chicken because the computer that's on and the hard drive are in two different places. So I got to have that hard drive shipped out here. I got to hook up another computer that's there. I have an editing computer, and then I have my laptop, which I'm on right now, which is my writing computer and my logistics computer. So once I get that out here, I got to finish cutting Act 3. There's a brand new act that kind of got in there. Once I finish that, that's going to go in, and I may be doing a crowdfund for that this year. So it's going to be about a $50,000 to $60,000 production to animate that. So we're going to have to talk to fans and be like, do we have enough to do this? I'm talking to an animation company, Mako Animation, about helping out with that, maybe doing a teaser so we can get something out. So we're going to get that going. So Ghost Chicken is definitely on my radar. It's one of my most excited. I'm really excited about that film. It's going to be really great. Yes, I am. I'm one of the biggest Jason fans out there. That's for sure. Do you want to do a premiere in the Midwest next year? I have a handful of premiere locations in Chicago, fall 2023. I would love to talk to you guys about that. When we release Never Hike Alone 2, I will, October 13th, I will be in Telluride. That is our home base for that. That's sort of the place where it all started. And so that's where I want to finish it. But as far as after October 13th, all the way until, spring 2024, the way I see it, we're going to be showing this film as in many places as possible. I want to get fans in theaters. I want to get fans at conventions. I want to get fans at festivals. Come out and see this thing on a big screen with big subwoofers, everything blasting, everything the way it's supposed to be. You can always watch it on your phone after with somebody else watching it. So it's actually like this big on the screen. It's just like in someone's corner over here while you're watching them react to it, which I know a lot of you do. And it's a lot of fun to do that, but get the experience. And obviously when we do that, it's a great opportunity. I think you'll see me, Tom, Vinny, Andrew, Anna Campbell, and lots of other cast and crew out there. Hopefully Brian Forrest will be able to come out and do some signings finally. He hasn't been able to sign for Ghost Jason yet, so I'd love to have him out at a convention. So keep an eye out for that. We're definitely looking for convention opportunities, and we're looking for convention opportunities right now too. We still have the what did we call that master cut, right? The Ghost Cut. So the Ghost Cut is still out there ready to be viewed as a feature film. So we definitely love to get that out there. Ooh, somebody just dropped $20. Thank you very much. I'll probably get to that in a second. What will we get a ghost version of Roy Burns? I was actually working on that for a while. I would love to do a sequel to that, but I've heard other people kind of doing the same thing, so I don't want to step on toes. If I ever do a ghost Roy, it will be a personal cosplay. I probably won't do any films with that. We did answer that questions. Thank you guys. You rock because you came through for us during the hibernation of Jason in Hollywood and the fact that we really haven't had anything good from Jason in a long time. Thank you, the dummy. Great name. Yeah, no, it's, that's the way obviously I was really worried about delayed, but really the reaction so far has been really positive and welcoming. And I think you guys trust us and know that we know what we're doing. Um, we wouldn't push unless it was the best thing possible for the film. And so thank you for still supporting us and believing in us. Should have there on the DVD extra. Yes, we will be putting a lot of extras on the Blu-ray. So everything that we create over the next year is probably going to end up on the Never Hike Alone Blu-ray, and eventually we're going to have to do our own like Womp Stomp films, like original things, short, so we can sell a little bit more there. Did you ever consider doing the Jason costume like the Part 7 with the ribs and spine showing? Yes. In fact, I've been on record of saying that if you ripped Ghost Jason away, he would be like mostly skin and bones. Like a lot of him is wasted away. And when people say like, "Oh, Jason's huge and jacked," I'm like, "Oh, this is like 70-year-old Jason at this point." So he's withered away. He's been sort of chipped away at. It's just mostly the clothes hanging off his bones at this point. But as far as like getting all that makeup done and putting on that bodysuit, getting all that done, you know, again, when you're doing things at this level, you want things to look good. Can I do it? Probably, but do I have enough money to invest in that look in order to make it look great? And since we haven't established that yet, that was one of the reasons behind Never Hike Alone 1 was like hiding a lot of that stuff. And one of my goals in Never Hike Alone 2 is to sort of show a little bit more of Ghost Jason. So as he takes damage, you'll see a little bit more. So there probably is going to have to be a chest plate and things like that that are going to have to be shown because he's going to take some bullets to that. He's going to take some other, objects to him. So we'll rip the clothes a little bit, do some stuff, but we're not going to go over the top. That's not really what we're going for as far as his look. I'm just getting on. So when are we going to start filming? So just to recap, August 16th through 19th, that's Portland and Washington. That's going to be our first round of filming. Then we're going to wait until next spring. We're going to film, August 16th through the 16th through 23rd at our camp location. We'll be 24th, 25th at our exterior hospital location. Come back to Los Angeles and shoot our interior hospital location that weekend at Surreal Studios. And then a couple weeks later, we're going back to Portland and Washington to finish the end of the movie. So we're big sort of finale that we need the sets up there in order to do it. So that's basically there. Would you ever consider doing something based on the Grudge or Ring franchises? At this point, we're probably going to start bowing out of fan films. We have one other fan film left that we're going to do, and maybe help out with the Jason Rising 2 if that ever happens. But as far as fan film goes, this is where I'm drawing the line. Drawing the line sort of with this stuff because we've been working on it so long and there's so many backed up original projects that we got to start getting those out of the pipeline. If I ever work on another film, I don't want to do a fan film. I want to do an actual studio remake. If I had to choose the Grudge or the Ring, I would probably, I don't know. I mean, I like Ring more than Grudge, but I don't know if like the Ring movies are like the ones that I would want to make. But I think Ring. I think I would give it a shot with Ring, even though Rings is what killed Friday the 13th. But we'll try that there. Did you know that Haunted Hippie still hasn't done her homework about watching Behind the Mask? We'll have to get her onto that because my homework this week for Haunted Hippie is watching Men because I know that one pissed her off a lot. So I'm going to dip into a theater this week and see it. And I think her and I are going to get together on her channel and we're going to take some time to discuss it. So keep an eye out for that. That will be a fun debate. Old head versus young head, talking about a very controversial movie. I'm sure that will be full of all the LOLs. Okay, so that 20 was Mike Motorcycle US. Reaction when Dead Meat covered Never Hike Alone's. It was, thank you for the $20 super chat. And remember, we have the super chat available now. So if you guys want to donate, this can certainly help the Womp Stomp brand as we add more stuff to the YouTube. That's one of the things I want to concentrate on this summer is building this page and doing more of these and interacting with more fans and building a fan base because we're going to need that fan base when it comes to our original products. So we can start to do that. Maybe I can start to do a couple extra, maybe go see a movie. We can talk about it and kind of do a live Q&A. Maybe the Womp Stomp fans, what do you guys think about this? We pick a movie one week. We say, hey, I'm going to go see the movie. Let's all meet up at this time here on Ghost Files. And let's talk about that movie this week. What did everybody think about it? What are some of the thoughts? And I'll give you my thoughts on the movie and break it down as a filmmaker and director of what I thought the highlights were, what I thought could have been done better, some of the things I would have done differently, and never to criticize outright, but just say, hey, this is what I thought. I wonder why it's this way, or I wonder why it's that way, or that didn't seem right, or that seemed great. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be fun for us to do, because I know a lot of people do that. But I'll definitely get on Haunted Hippie. Oh, why didn't this? There we go. So reaction when dead meat covered Never Hike Alone. Well, it was amazing. I mean, to have that there, and then you see our views shoot up. It was really cool. I got to meet James at a convention, and really nice guy. Really glad that he is a big fan of our work, and to have him on board and put out Never Hike in the Snow and do Never Hike Alone for us. It's a huge help. And also shout out to the Merkins too. Another big thank you, Mark, for the $20 thing. To have people like that supporting you, it really means a lot. Let me see. Just jumping through whichever two. Okay, that's where I was. And what were you inspired by when it comes to cinematography? So Never Hike Alone 1 was inspired by The Martian, 127 Hours, The Descent, stuff that has cameras sort of involved. Not The Descent, As Above, So Below. Never Hike in the Snow was definitely The Revenant meets True Detective. And then, Never Hike Alone 2, it's tough to say. I've been doing actually big influence so far has been the Batman. The Batman has had a lot of shots that I've been taking note of as far as like cinematography wise, lighting wise, on certain scenes, dark nights, things like that. Cause we're going into we're going to the hospital at night. We have to light an interior hospital at night on a stage, which is really cool. So we have complete control of the lighting. So I love the way that the Batman really used the dark spaces. In fact, and then watching some of the stuff on, in fact, I've been watching a lot of just sort of like high level TV shows, like Obi-Wan. Even though I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing right now, there are a few scenes in there that as I go, I sort of like pluck like, ooh, that's a great angle, or that's a great way to cover. Like usually chipping away at that, like, great artists steal from the best. We sort of build a litany of things that we like to look at. And then we use that as a stepping off point to go from there. So definitely like, stuff that's shot just super cinematically and is strong and simple. That's usually what we go for. We can't do any of the big stuff. We don't have techno cranes. We don't have jib arm cars. Like we don't have any of that stuff. We got to work with, a Dana dolly, like a 10-foot, 15-foot jib with an articulated head. That's not as like advanced as like the articulated, like heads that we use on bigger productions. We don't use a lot of Steadicam. I don't like using Ronins. I think that they sort of look cheap when you use them. They have too much float. Like instead of the camera moving in and out, like when you see a Ronin, you see it kind of doing this the whole time, and then you got to stabilize it, which is a lot of extra work. Speaking of cinematography, our director of photography, Evan Butka, bought a new Red camera. We're going to be shooting with the Red Ranger Monstro, I think what it is, but it's the new top of the line Red that just came out, or one of the top of the line Red. So we're upgrading again. We're gonna have an even better camera setup for that. We'll probably have a bunch of other stuff that we're getting in for lighting, which is gonna be good. Yeah. Let me see what's going on here. Hey, got to meet you at the Friday the 13th mini-con in Blairstown. Hey, got the Blu-rays of Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow. Looking forward to Never Hike Alone 2. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for stopping by. Again, anyone who came out to the Blairstown event, it was a really fun weekend. And, we celebrating 13 Fanboy and Never Hike Alone at my booth, and as well as Friday the 13th Part 3, because it was the anniversary of the original release. So there were a lot of, like Tracy Savage was there. Some of the folks from Friday the 13th Part 2 were there. So it was a really great event. Shout out to Jimmy and South Jersey Jason for putting that on. How did I make my Jason costume? We're going to do a whole thing on that pretty soon, but really shortly. Sort of put it together on my own, sort of putting together pieces of clothing, researching hoods and hands, eventually went to CFX. CFX ended up creating a custom mask for me, which is now called the Ghost Hawk. The Ghost Hawk was based on old Jacques Plant masks, which were the original kind of concept for the Never Hike Alone with Detroit Red Wings mask that was used in Part 3. And I just wanted something that was a little bit thicker and a little bit more aged and a little bit older. So we sort of based it from that, and CFX custom design it, and we did it that way. Let's see. Let me see. Thank you for asking this question. So the project that I was talking about that we're also going to work on, working with Cecil Laird right now, the idea is to shoot Dylan's New Nightmare this fall. So instead of me getting lost into production, a rush production, Ever Hike Alone 2, and we shoot next year now, it's opened me up to work with Cecil to get Dylan's new Nightmare made. We're going to shoot it this year. We talked to Miko Hughes 2-3 nights ago. All got on the same page. We've been reaching out to everyone on the staff. We're bringing on a new DP, Ben Meredith, to come in and take over because Ben is just a masterclass DP, and we really need his expertise on this one because we're gonna, with all the time that we've had to raise more money on that. I think Cecil raised an extra 10 grand in our last Indiegogo, which the Indiegogo is still going right now. You can still support that project as well, which I highly suggest that you do. Yeah, we have a lot to look forward to on that one. We got some really cool casting announcements that are to come out. We've been filling roles behind the scenes, so that has been progressing. Hopefully that shoots this fall, and then we release it sometime in the spring of 2023. The Last Shoegazer. Cheers, Vin. That all sounds great, man. Thanks for the updates and all the dedication. Proud backer here. Well, that's great to hear. I mean, we want to hear from our backers. It's great that everyone's happy. Hopefully no one's too upset. I know it's a bummer. We were all looking for it this year. My biggest goal is always making fans happy. But as far as I know, there's a lot of fan films coming out this year. 2 that I'm aware of. One is My Special Boy, and the other one may be a complete waste of your time. But hey, at least there's something coming out. And we all love a good roast session every now and then, don't we? How many times will we have to say the citizens of Crystal Lake yell, "Evil dies tonight"? Well, now you've spoiled the movie because I was just going to have 90 minutes of that. Tommy and Kyle were just going to lead a conga line that they just said, "Evil dies tonight." Ha! Evil dies tonight. They're just going to go around the hospital until Jason shows up and just starts picking them off one by one with a bow and arrow. It's going to be a great sequence. So if you guys love the bow and arrow stuff, you're going to love that scene. Definitely check out for that. Did I hear that wrong? Ghost Chicken. Yes, Ghost Chicken, an animated film about a vegan restaurant that's haunted by the ghost of a chicken and the young girl who's determined to figure out why. It's going to be a 25-minute animated film that I wrote and will be directing. It's been storyboarded by a very great group of storyboard artists, JD Leslie, Monique Arroyo. Am I saying, is that the right person? I think Monique Arroyo, and then Jay Klaus all did the work on that, and great artists. And JD is the one who's been doing boarding for Never Hike Alone 2. And we're working with Mako Animation on that. And I'm cutting it as well. Although I'll probably hand it off to Mike at some point, who's working on Little Devil for effects right now. So that's pretty cool. Again, there were a lot of conflicts and things that were going on. Like Mike, our editor, is working on this big effects show that's coming out with Danny DeVito and stuff like that. So he's not available till late this summer. And other people, booked vacations or got booked on shows or got booked at conventions. And then you have locations that got locked up because everybody in the pandemic was booking their vacations last year because they wanted to get out and reserving time. So it became really hard to sort of get a camp like all the way through for a week. So that became like one of the big issues. I'll send you an email. I have an idea. Beautiful. Any plans to dip into the more supernatural elements of Friday the 13th? Crazy VFX, Jason Goes to Hell. Ain't the best, but I've always loved the Necronomicon Evil Dead link. Also hope you liked Let's Eat. Yes, I did like Let's Eat. Thank you very much for that. No Necronomicon on this one, but we do hint at it in Jason Rising. So if you want Necronomicon stuff, I would say float on over there to the Jason Rising project. They definitely kind of bring some of that Evil Deadness into the world. You will see more supernatural effects. So people seeing hallucinations, like in part 5, that's something that comes up. But I won't dig into that too much. But we do believe in sort of like Jason just isn't an entity. There's also an actual curse, and anyone who comes in contact with the curse is also cursed for the rest of their life. So you'll be seeing a little bit of that. If anyone can read that language, I'd love to have that translated so I can kind of do that. It says call mama. My mom's just in the other room over there, so I could just go knock on her door if you want me to. Is fan commentary still up? I don't know if it is. I gotta double check that one. It might be. I don't think that filled up yet. I know we got a couple people on there, but that hasn't filled up yet. So definitely check that out, and we may be able to do a second commentary track. So we can give that a thought too. I'll talk to my post people to see if there's room on the disc for it. How does it feel to create such a legacy? Another, if people feel this franchise is better than some of the big companies have produced. Other people. I mean, it's really weird, honestly. I never thought I'd create something that people would consider to be on par with the franchise. I just wanted the storytelling to be right. And so I think that even though our budgets are way below what, last Friday the 13th was a $20 million film. So for us to sort of be able to compete with these films is really a miracle. And I'm just really humbled by it. Honestly, like it just feels really good. That's all I can really say. It's just a really it's I'm trying to be arrogant about it, but it just feels like, when you put a lot of passion into something and you're really passionate about something, to have fans reciprocate and, cheer you on and want you to do more, that is really sort of the greatest reward that you can have. I've always got the big bass booming 135-inch screen come at me. Well, you're going to have a fun time watching this one. I see a lot of people. Let's see. Oh, Kevin, the remake helped me get through a breakup. Well, I'm sorry. Well, at least you have some stupendous moments in the remake to help you get through that. Fachi Cinema, thanks, man. Thank you for the thing. Oh, Resolute Blood. Hey, Eric, how you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Miss you too. I won't go too deep on this. We're about an hour in right now. I'm probably going to go for another 20 minutes or so. But go to Cody Falk. Not Cody Falk. I feel bad now. Because I always get names stuck in my head. But Cody Leach. Him and I did a great debate on Friday the 13th Part 1 and the remake. I go in depth for my dislike for Friday the 13th, 2009, and why I dislike it. I don't try to trash the film just because, it sucks, blah, blah, blah. I go into detail on that. So if you want that explanation, I would say go support Cody Leach. Go watch that debate. It's probably one of the best debates I've ever been a part of. It's super fun. We don't get mad at each other. We have a lot of fun with it. And, we both learn a lot. And I think we both have a lot of mutual respect for the films that we were defending. And grew out in that way. And we hope that sort of becomes a model for the way that people do that. He's a young 70. What are your thoughts on A New Beginning? It's gotten crap for years, but people have been warming up to it. Was just curious if you like it, hate it, or just meh on it. I love it. It's in my top 5. It's actually a better constructed story than the original Friday the 13th, as far as, introducing the killer at the beginning of the movie and then revealing who it is at the end, like a traditional giallo. So like Friday the 13th was very much influenced from the Italian horror movies from the 70s, along with Black Christmas, along with Halloween. They were trying to directly rip off Halloween, but with the VFX, they definitely went the giallo route. And giallos are all mystery films. It's a whodunit. And so that's what Friday the 13th Part 1 was. And Friday the 13th Part 5 was the only other sequel that was truly sort of a true remake of Friday the 13th Part 1. So even though it's a little cheeky, it's a little bit cheaper, a lot of it's filmed during the day. A lot of the night scenes are very bright. It's not as sexy as Joe Zito's, dark Friday the 13th Part 3, or even Steve Miner's very snappy direction in Part 2 and Part 3, or even as big and rock starry as Tom McLaughlin's Part 6, or as effects heavy as John Carl Buechler's Part 7. Part 5 sits in the middle of, there's a very good story. And the fact that it continues the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, because I consider, I love Part 6 and Part 4, and then Part 5 slides down the for me as part, because it's not as well executed as the other ones. But I love the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. I watch 4 through 6 in one sitting most of the time. If I'm going to watch Part 6, I usually start at Part 4 and just watch it all the way through. I love Part 5. How does it feel to be the star, producer, director, writer in Friday the 13th fan film? You're famous, man. I don't know about famous. Infamous, maybe. I call myself a Z-list celebrity. People recognize. It's nice to be recognized on the con circuit, but a lot of that's been a lot of boots on the ground work. You know what I mean? Getting out there and meeting people. Every now and then I'm on a I was on American Horror Stories, and people recognize Never Hike Alone. I've been on other film sets. Directors have recognized Never Hike Alone who have worked in the horror genre. So that, they've congratulated me on saying, hey, you got something there. So it's really, really cool. And to do all these different things, wear all these different hats. Like, my goal isn't to keep doing that. My goal is to just direct. I direct and I mean, I produce and I write and I act. I do that a lot out of necessity, which I might be doing a lot more acting soon. I got a bug for it now. Did it in a couple of the, obviously doing the creature acting and then acting in 13 Fanboy and the upcoming Judy and being able to be on screen and actually do some stuff. Jason Rising was a lot of fun. Got killed on screen for that. So if you're making a horror movie and you need a cop or you need somebody in town to just say their lines clearly and not look at the camera, then you can count on me. I'd love to do that for you. Still haven't answered my question about how Ghost Jason got his mask. So that's going to be the subject of the ghost of Crystal Lake. I'll just say this: there are masks in the camp that are shown in Never Hike in the Snow. It came from that pile. So we're setting something up for another one. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But Jason's new mask came from the camp that was stored from equipment that was left at the camp in 1962 when they were trying to reopen after the original murders. Before the fires of the bad water, they brought some winter equipment because they thought they were going to do a winter camp. All that equipment got stored in the back of the camp. Jason came across it eventually, and we'll see how that sort of happens in the next one. I am from Portland. Would you do a meet and greet after film wrap up? We are talking to our friends at Jason Rising about doing an event while I'm out there. I'm staying longer. I'm getting in earlier and I'm staying longer. So we'll definitely kind of get that up. Keep an eye out on that. Even any ballpark when Judy, NHA2, IMDb credits will post. Judy should be soon. I'll check in with Renee on that as far as like where he should be at taking care of that stuff. That really falls under Renee's sort of world. I'd sort of just remind him. So I will send him a reminder to get those things up and running. And then if you have a specific IMDb that you want to attach it to, now's the time to email us. So definitely get that in. I'll get it into the, I have a big long sheet of everyone's names. So we'll fix that in the credits and stuff like that. Let me see. Oof, Ring better than The Grudge. Canceled. Oh, come on. I mean, The Grudge is fine, but the kid meows at people. It's like, meow, and I'm like, am I supposed to be scared? It's fine. I don't know. I don't know. I just watched more Ring than I did than I did Grudge. Wow, there are a lot of questions here. Boop 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 boop. Let's see. Mitch has got to run. Have a good one, Mitch. That was a long time ago. Are you excited that the lawsuit is over? Yes, and I heard it might be kind of wrapping up pretty soon. I don't know what that means for us, but hopefully they don't come after us. Come on, guys. Oh yeah, motorcycle. I did see that. My bad. I flipped that up, but my bad. Will my original film still be in the genre? Yes. Ghost Chicken is a comedy, horror comedy, but all my other ones, they're horror movies. And one of them is a ghost story. We're working on another one that I sort of was supposed to do a long time ago, and then somebody else took the script and made their own version of it. So now I'm going to get a chance to make my version of it. So that's going to be fun. You're really good with survival horror. Maybe a short creature feature someday like Resident Evil. Definitely want to do some zombie stuff. That's on our radar. In fact, I'm talking about the Jason Rising guys with some projects in that realm right now. So we'll see when that gets going. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for all the super chats, everybody who've been doing that. The Merkins do have baller views. That Pink, everybody has been really great. Mark, yes, we'd love to have you visit set. Now, anybody who's a big backer, producers, remember, producers can visit set. And if we have producers upgrade to say producer or co-producer or producer from where they're at right now in the associate producers, because all associate producers have sort of been bought up, that will create room for more people to jump on there, and that will allow you to come to set. And with a year and a half over 10 months to sort of prep for that, you now have a lot of time to prep and take time off to come and visit us on set. So that'll be a lot of fun. People can still back Never Hike Alone 2. The link is in the description below. Definitely tell people about it. Start to rally more people to say there's more time to get to the reach goals. It's definitely what we're doing. Camp Facer, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while, but good to see you. Let's see, Fabio, love the name. What's up, Vince? I'm a huge fan of Friday the 13th NHA movies. Good luck in your projects. Thanks from Brazil. Thank you, sir. Thanks for supporting us down in Brazil. Definitely got a lot of really cool fans down there, so we're happy to bring Friday the 13th for you. Having worn the hockey mask, can you answer how bad Jason's peripheral vision would be? Awful. I can see just in front of me. So Jason is sort of, he has a lot of blind spots. So that's probably why he doesn't see a lot of people when he's scanning his head around. I can totally get that. Let's see. Eric's been going off. Ever think about doing a full silicone mask hood? Yes, but for filming, it's not that great because breathing is really hard. If I do that, it's going to be for cons, and I am talking to CFX about that. That way I can be at cons and lift the mask up and do some of that Part 8 action. That'll be some. Yes, there will be new goodies on the Never Hike Alone Indiegogo very soon. I saw an update on one of them today. I'm telling you, this one, you guys are going to flip out for it. It's gonna, everyone's gonna want one. So I'm really excited for it. And John, shout out to John McNeil, who's working on it, who's going to be making these really, really cool things for us. If we could consider a New Line Cinema Friday movie in the Never Hike Alone timeline, what would we consider? Jason X, because that's what I want to build into next. In fact, I have a sequel to Jason X written. Benny, post a link to Dylan's New Nightmare in Indiegogo. Honestly, just type Dylan's New Nightmare into search. And it should pop right up. I don't have my 15 monitors like I usually do, so I don't want to shut down this to open things up and kind of get in there. We'll sort of do that. Bing bong. I'm trying to find you a link motorcycle. Thank you guys. If you guys can help each other out in the chat and you want to post it up there, post the links in there and let people know. But if you search Google, you should be brought to it there. With NHA2 campaign being in demand for the next 10 months, you mentioned in the past there would be a second campaign for NHA2 in the future. Let's get that 350. I don't know if I'm gonna have to do a second campaign now because I'm gonna keep this open the whole time. If we do a second campaign, it's gonna be after the film comes out. So we'll close this campaign before the film premieres, and then we'll do a new campaign for home video just to sort of reset that and get it going. I may even switch it to Seed and Spark at that point as well. If we could ever consider, okay, you guys can ask that. Will there be dick blood? Well, I don't know. Let's get to that 350,000 and maybe we'll find a way to get some dick blood in there. I hope the budget goes up for maximum kills. So do I. There we go. Let's see. Yes, a reminder, Cody Leach and I's debate on Friday the 13th, original and remake. Definitely go see that. Hey, great call out, Phenomena. I believe that's Argento, right? Although I'm a big fan of Deep Red and Tenebrae. Those are two films that really, really stick out. Obviously, Bay of Blood, which was a big influence on Friday the 13th. They stole a few of the kills from that one. Definitely there. If we could consider, see that one. Oh, you keep posting that one. Let's see, Mark hitting it up again. Thanks, buddy. Now I'm at the bottom. Let's see. Just got the Blu-ray collection. Happy to support you in your productions. Really want to see that House Party Massacre goal. So do I. You know, part of the House Party Goal Massacre scene is that's a really great scene to bring in backers. Maybe it's time to sort of open. God, I'd have to hit I think I'd have to hit the goal first, and then we could open up like appear in the scene, because at that point people are just gonna be running around getting murdered. So a lot of my friends from the convention circuit will be on there, which will be really great. Mark, who's from Cinemassacre Horror, who is a producer on the show, thank you for the super chat. Obviously really awesome. Hey guys, so Dylan's new, there is one that's closed, but here, I will try to find it. There's a new one that's up. Dylan's New Nightmare. Give me a moment, please. Oh, look at that. Let's see. In fact, what am I even doing? I have direct access because I am Indigo. Sorry guys, now you're looking at me. Go Dylan's New Nightmare. Bing bong. Finishing funds campaign. There it is. Something isn't quite right. Really? Let's go to here then. Indiegogo. Log right in. It looks like Indiegogo's site is down right now. Yeah, something's going on at Indiegogo, so I wouldn't worry about that right now. It is there, but it looks like it's Indiegogo's fault and not Dylan's New Nightmare. Cecil and I will be on the horror show pretty soon, so keep an eye out on all of our social media. That would be a great way for you guys to sort of like see when him and I are going to jump on. We'll dump into it. Probably bring Nico on, introduce everybody to Ben, who was he was the DP on Pathosis and Judy. So, and Ben has been doing some amazing projects since both of those as well, and getting even better and better, and getting even better equipment. We'll now be shooting Dylan's New Nightmare with Ben's Ari, so that's going to be really good. When am I doing my Rambo film? Oh my god. that's one day, hopefully at some point. Will we see what put the death curse in Crystal Lake? Not in any of the films that we're working on right now. That's sort of like a go to the past type thing, and that's not where we're really running with this. Okay, good. Now we've caught up. Will y'all be working with companies such as NECA or Treat or Treat Studios or any third-party company? Yes. Not NECA, not Trick or Treat, even though I'm a big friend. I'm a friend of Justin Mabry's and a big fan of his. We do have some third-party people that we're working with. We do work with third-party people, like Tapeworm Video does all of our VHS. Shout out to them. Creative Terror Pins does all of our pin work. We worked with Sculpt or Die and A New Kind of Fear in the past. Who else? Shout out to T-Shirt Pros for doing all of our T-shirts. But we have some new stuff coming up, and we're really excited to talk about that. And we'll talk about those partnerships when we get there. We've recently partnered with a company called Gamatica. They have a large online streaming presence in games, and they want to step into movies. So we're going to be working with them to be creating content. So we're definitely going there. Bam. Quick question. Will the new VHS tapes be clamshell or cardboard sleeve? Cardboard sleeves. Cardboard sleeves. That's usually where we start. But I can talk to Tapeworm and we can talk about clamshells. Maybe we do some of those limited edition, like only 13 of these are getting made, like we did in the first campaign, which I still have one of them. And I love it. It's one of my favorite ones. So we're definitely going to be doing that. How were you able to get Ghost Jason into Killer Puzzle and officially licensed Friday the 13th video game? They actually requested us. So I think because they were in a different realm of something, they were able to sort of slip us in, and they made Ghost Jason. He was just sort of part of the game. It doesn't really say like, it doesn't really say, I mean, not only Ghost Jason's in it, but Kyle's in it too, which is really cool. That was the cool part. I got, Andrew in. So I was really, really proud of that. But I just got to give it out to the folks up there at Blue Wizard. They're the ones who put it together. They asked, they had sort of put like, ooh, like you could get your face in it or something like that. And I said, what would you think about doing Ghost Jason? I sort of reached out to them on Twitter, and they're like, that's interesting. And they reached out to me a few weeks later, and we made it happen. And they did a little bit of a design. They sent me the updates. I gave him the approval, and he got into the game. So I don't know how they snuck it past everybody, but they did it, and I'm forever grateful for that. Let's see. Has the budget for the films been more difficult since the pandemic, pushing back schedule on future projects? Yes. So everything is much more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Travel is more expensive. Flights are more expensive. It's been tougher to sort of book things. There's COVID tests that we have to pay for. Maybe if we film next year, we don't have to do COVID tests. That would be nice. But there's a lot of additional costs. So the bigger budget really helps with covering those things. And so we're not losing things that aren't going to our on-screen quality. You said that we might be extras in the background if we visit set. Yes. Specifically, interior hospital. And if you come during the week of the camp, there's one scene in particular where I'll be able to put a lot of people. So if you're on set and you're a producer, I can put you in the movie as long as you're at camp with us. And we may even be able to house you. That's up in the air right now. We're trying to find lodging as far as like right now we're staying at the camp, but we may find additional lodging. So if we find additional lodging, we can house some of our volunteers and producers. You'll have a very good chance of being an extra in the movie, a background extra. Not sure if you've done patches for the campaign, but that might be cool. Patches are on my radar. I'd love to do our Camp Crystal Lake patch. We also have some new designs coming out that I think will work for a patch. I'm not 1,000% convinced that they sell very well, but I'm willing to put it up there as long as we can. This is how I usually do it. I figure out how much it's going to cost. Is there a minimum that we have to do? What's the minimum investment that we have to make in getting the patches made? And then we sort of go from there. In fact, I'm talking to some people about patches that we need for our characters in the film. So like Wessex County PD patches, and other things of that nature, like the hospital patches. So I think we might be able to take the patches from the movie and make them available. You can get either a screen use patch, or you can actually get a copy of the patch, just like we've had happen. Look, you already got another supporter. Patches would be cool. Eric jumping in. Thank you, Fachi, for that. Yes, the Ghost Jason mask is definitely unexpectedly came. I mean, not that I was really proud of it when we were done, but I'm glad that the fans bought into it, because again, no chevrons, no axe marks. I thought people were going to give me crap for it, so I'm glad that's that. Maybe. Don't know if it's us really return receipt, but it's film set for no. So Christmas Studios, definitely go back and watch the beginning of this when this is done. Read the updates on social media. We're pushing Never Hike Alone 2 back to October 2023, Friday the 13th, October 23. Long story short, a lot of scheduling conflicts. The schedule was getting all screwed up, and we looked at spring to 2023 as a backup plan originally, and then the more we kind of weighed the idea of shooting in 2023, the better the outcome of the film became. Post-production, actual production, pre-production, all going to run a lot smoother now. Everything's already booked. We're ready to go. So definitely familiarize yourself with some of the posts that we've made, and you'll be able to, holy crap, every now and then this thing just jumps up with comments. I feel like I'm falling way behind. I would sleep on the floor if I volunteered. Probably wouldn't have to. We'd at least bring an inflatable mattress. In fact, I slept on an inflatable mattress for Never Hike in the Snow because I gave everyone else the beds. Okay, this is a good one. There've been a lot of questions about Never Hike Alone Steelbook, saga completion with prequels, like a book set, a box set. Yes, if we do a master cut of Never Hike Alone with all the films cut together, that will be its own campaign, because I'm gonna have to pay for some of Mike's time for him to put it all back together, get all the footage, put it all there. It's going to go through post-production, go through a whole new litany of color correction and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff. Going there. Elise. Vincent, thank you for everything you've done. Question, will this campaign stay open long enough where you could reach the $300,000 stretch goals? Also, new perks to come? Yes. So we're staying open all year until we release the film. It's going to be open so people can get their names in the credits. Right now, we got over 2,200 people. So if we can get to like 3,000, 4,000 people, I think we can reach our goal. And new perks will be there to support it. There's going to be a brand new project, a secret project that's going to have its own perks. It's going to have its own special thank yous. So there'll be an additional $10 bonus for that one. You'll be able to do, it will appear on the Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray. So there'll be a perk. Say you haven't done anything yet, you can buy a perk that gives you the Never Hike Alone 2 credit, but it'll also give you the credit for this new secret project, which we'll announce pretty soon. There's some new physical perks that are going to come out, like these cups, Womp Stomp films on one side, Never Hike Alone on the other. Here, let me get that nice and close so you guys can see it. Pretty rad, right? I mean, I've been drinking out of this cup since it came in. This is supposed to be for my mom. Yeah, so let's see. Jumping ahead. And Elise, if that's the Elise I think of, I hope you guys enjoyed the message. I got responses, so I'm glad that worked. They got the commentary track, so anybody who gets the commentary track will be joining Elise and Jay, her fiance, which would be really, really cool. Yeah, the issue with steelbooks is that they're really expensive, and we'd have to guarantee selling that many because they're going to be costly. So that's why it sort of needs its own campaign just for the steelbooks. That way we don't get caught with our pants down when it comes to the money. Gregory Peck, sorry I'm late, guys. Did I miss the announcement as far as perks? Yeah, I mean, you kind of got the hang, but I would just say just read some of our things. It's all up there. If you got an announcement through the campaign, the update has all the information for you guys. Definitely do that. I think it would be worth it. We just got to give it its own budget because there's a lot of work that has to be done. We may be able to add additional things to it. You know what I mean? And then when you guys see what we can do with the special project, we may be able to do a lot of stuff that way. Is there going to be any level of variation of the hockey mask like in Friday the 13th movies, like Damage or a revised mask? You're going to have to watch to find that one out. But it's been on my bucket list to get it done. So a little bit more money, and I think we'll be able to make that happen. Yeah, steel, and that's sort of the big thing is that steelbooks are a big gamble. So that's sort of what would keep us from there. Okay. That was a lot. We've been going for about an hour and a half, an hour and 23. Hopefully we've got all of your questions answered. If I have not, throw it in there right now. I'll try to get it in the next 5 minutes. But But again, thank you for everybody for your constant support of the project. A lot of supportive emails have come in since we made the announcement. A lot of supportive comments have been on our social media. Definitely, definitely check out the Indiegogo for Never Hike Alone 2 if you haven't yet, or if someone was sitting on the fence a month ago and didn't have the funds to do it, remind them now that, hey, you have a chance and you have 10 months to get whatever you want. We'll find ways to get more props available and things as we build them available. And as soon as we get updates from CFX on the Jason costume, I'll trust you, I'll be the first one in the costume when it arrives and testing it out. So we'll get a lot of that type of stuff. More Jason movies and new chapters, I hope. Yeah, I would love to. Hopefully we can kind of, now that this is sort of kind of coming around with the lawsuit, hopefully we can make our pitch to start making some stuff for the actual franchise. Hey, Joe, thanks to one of our backers from Cinescare Horror Podcast. Cinescare has joined on as a partner for the film to be one of our producers. So they'll have their logo in front of the film, which will be really, really cool. Casey just wrote, thanks, Vin, for answering my questions on the live chat through personal emails. You're the real deal. Everyone needs to support Vincent. Thank you. Yes, it's not just me, though. There's a huge team. So there's a lot of people behind me. I can't do it without them. And that's the reason why you guys support me. You guys are actually supporting a lot of my friends and colleagues that I meet along the way. I'm just here for the film. You know what I mean? Like, it would make no sense for me to take money because I would just be putting it back into the film anyway. I want as much support for the film as possible. I want the money to go into the film. There's no sense in buying gear or things that I don't need or material goods. Everything for this film has to go into either getting the right people or the right equipment or the right materials. If it's not going to that, it's just a waste of money. Vinny, you have said that Jason is wary of Tommy. Was he avoiding him all these years? Yes. Jason doesn't want to fight Tommy because Tommy's defeated him. He's 2-0. You know what I mean? And he's maybe 2.5-0. If you want to count like Roy is like a sort of like a conduit for Jason. Tommy will also do everything he can to destroy Jason and his world. So he's been avoiding him and driving Tommy crazy has sort of been like the side goal of that. Not just killing him, but driving him nuts. Thank you very much. Yes, we hope that he's in good hands. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Jesse. So I believe with that, now's the time to wrap up this episode of the Ghost Files. I've been talking for 90 minutes straight. So keep an eye out for more Ghost Files. I'm going to try and get these either done on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday every week. Look for more guests to start popping up soon. Guests will include Vinny Galastafaro. We'll also have Andrew Lady and Anna Campbell and more cast and crew from Never Hike Alone. We'll probably be pulling one or two all on a week to do some questions. Obviously, we'll be having Cecil later on at some point, and Miko Hughes and Ben Meredith to talk about Dylan's New Nightmare. And then as we announce the secret projects, we'll be talking to some of the people that are involved with those. Maybe some of our artists behind some of our new perks, we'll bring them on, and lots of fun stuff there. And then, wow, look at this question that just popped up. You're going to have to watch to find out. Is Jason, maybe Jason kills everyone in Crystal Lake and he just sits on a throne at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, why is he got to die? Why can't he kill everybody? You guys are thinking so inside the box. If anything, what I will say about this, anyone who's wondering, like, for me, this is sort of like the swan song of the franchise. I can't say if Jason will ever truly die. Obviously, it's a Friday the 13th film. Jason is going to have to be stopped in some way, shape, or form. But we're going to have to watch to find out, and you're going to have to see who does it, who's going to survive, and how it's going to happen. So that's definitely there. And John's definitely got it right. Jason never dies. So we definitely encapsulate that spirit here at Womp Stomp Films. It's something we believe there. So take that with a grain of salt and then watch the film, and you'll see for yourself how it goes. Maybe he turns himself around and becomes a good person in the end. I never really thought about Jason as a bad person. I just thought that he was sort of chosen for a job that maybe if he was alive and wasn't killed as a kid, he wouldn't have done. Because I never saw anything that would have made Jason a bad kid. He was just disfigured, right? With Tom Eustace being a producer on My Special Boy, will you be getting involved? not personally. I've actually, James and I have actually had a lot of discussions. So I haven't been directly involved in saying being on set or writing or having any creative decisions, but I have given James a lot of advice. So maybe I end up in special thank yous or something like that. But I know Tom is out there supporting lots of people, and I really like that. Tom has such a big influence in the community, so for him to help other filmmakers and use some of the cachet that he has from being not only like his career in films, but the fact that like he's part of this pioneer team as far as what we've done in Never Hike Alone is so to help other fan filmmakers is really cool of him. And I'm looking forward to it. That's I think Never My Ancestral Boys 10/28/2022, right? So hey, keep an eye out for that one. Very interesting. Picks up part 2. So there's definitely one. So shout out to James Grimm and that team. Wish them all the best. And, if you guys ever have any questions, you need some help, you know where to email me. Jason gets thrown into the lake a lot. Is he going to get thrown in again? Well, there's going to be a lot of lake work this time. That's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check out for that. We got a really cool lake for this one. I'm looking forward to doing some work there. Will Corey Feldman be a part of any projects? I was in 13 fanboy with Corey. I did not act with him. I did not see him on set. I did see him at the premiere. He didn't say much, but no, Corey won't be in this one. I don't want to cross paths. I've always wanted to do a film where Corey, John Shepard, and Tom all show up in the same scene and all point at each other and fight over who's the real Tommy. But Tom Matthews is my Tommy. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a good one. So here we are. We hit the hour and a half mark. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this episode of the Ghost Files Live. Please stay tuned for additional updates for Never Hike Alone 2, Dylan's New Nightmare, Ghost Chicken, and a litany of other projects that we're working on here at Womp Stomp Films. Thank you to everyone on my team and every one of our backers for your support as we make this really crazy announcement about the delay. Again, we apologize if this has upset anyone, but from what I can see in the comments, everyone knows that this is only going to make the film better. Let's get out there. Let's pound the pavement. Let's start getting more people involved with backing the film. We're going to have 10 more months to reach, $350,000, probably even more. Actually, have a year and a year and 3 months to, all the way up until release in October to get it up to that point, which could really help in post-production. So let's keep doing that. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, we'll see you on the trails.